Have you ever wanted to encourage more dreaming or more lucid dreaming? Stick around and let's talk about some herbs that can help you with that. Hi everybody, and welcome back to another video by Pan Society. I'm Cherie, and today I would like to talk about herbs that you would use for dreaming. When I mean dream herbs, I don't mean that they like induce euphoria or hallucinations or anything like that. These are herbs that do, each herb has different things that they'll do for you, whether they help you sleep, whether they help calm the mind so it can do its own thing, or whether they do encourage a little bit more vivid dreaming. Every culture has their own herbs that they use for these, so I'm only going to introduce you to like 6 different herbs, and that's because they're the more common ones. They're easy to find now, and they're probably already available in certain tea blends already, so they're easier to get. As I show them to you, they're also going to be the dried version, because I want to talk about the other plants separately, because if you're going to go wild crafting, it's extremely important to know when to harvest, how to harvest, what parts you're using. So there's a whole lot more information that goes into that. So it's easier to just start with the dried, because you can already order those, and if I show you the picture of what the dried looks like, at least you can identify it and know that's exactly what you got. Other than that, experiment with it. Know your allergies too, please. That's another thing, is if you're allergic to certain families of plants, avoid those. That's common sense, but sometimes we need to be reminded, or look up the Latin names, because sometimes we just don't think certain things are related. Just, you know, for example, tomatoes and eggplants, you wouldn't know that they actually, and potatoes, those are all in the same family, but we wouldn't know that because they look drastically different. That being said, experiment, take your time. If you're super sensitive to things like this, small doses, like a small cup of tea with a little amount of herbs, and then you work up to what works for you. This is not a one-size-fits-all kind of deal. This is taking the time for yourself. If you find that you're too sensitive for one, try a different herb or a different blend or a different way about it. Like I said, there's tons of herbs out there to choose from. You're just going to find something that works for you. And then also what works for you may not work for your relative, or vice versa. Or sometimes what's working now is not what works later, and that's because, you know, a whole other different host of things. Either your system has changed, or it's not what you need. So always pay attention and listen. Now, bringing that up, if you listen, herbs, these are plants. They have plant energies. They're plant allies. You can't just put them together and say, hey, work for me. You have to take your time, get to know them, honor them, ask them if you're allowed to use them today. Because if you don't, if you're not open and they're not open to working with you, nothing's going to happen. So you may think that, oh, this one doesn't do anything for me, but you know, that may not be what it is. And maybe that herb is just not for you that day, or you just, the plant energy said, no, not for you, not today. So take your time, get to know the herbs. This is one of those great chances to really delve into your power and figure out actually working with plant allies and plant medicine and plant energy. That is one of those things also, because everybody's always looking for a trip or a high or a quick fix, and that's not what this is. This is a long journey, a long path. So take your time. And also be respectful of everything. I guess that's like my big point about it, is being respectful with the plant. So some of the herbs I would like to talk about today are rose, fairly common one. You know what this looks like, you've seen it. Damiana, this one might be a new one to you, but it's very common in dream blends. Skullcap, this one might be a new one to you as well. Lavender, a familiar one. Chamomile, which is pretty familiar in your sleepy time teas, and if you've paid attention to drinking sleepy time teas, you might notice you get a little bit dreamy those nights. And the final one is mugwort, which might be a strange one, but it's common in a lot of blends. All of these herbs are safe to consume as long as you have no allergies. You can play around with the ratios, you can mix them all together. Lavender's kind of a funky one. Some people don't like that florally, perfumey flavor, so you don't have to include that one. You can make a sachet out of it. Rose too, that can be a kind of hit or miss. Now chamomile also is a bitter one. In your sleepy time nighttime blend teas that you drink with chamomile in it, sometimes you notice if you steep it too long, it gets a little bit bitter. That's actually good. That's plant medicine. I'm used to the bitter taste of these herbs because I do them often. That I don't notice it anymore. So that might be something you want to consider, that you might want to mix it with something else, like peppermint, which is actually another dream herb, but we just don't talk about it that often. Or something else that gives you a better flavor. Or mixing honey or agave in it to help it go down. Also, let's talk about methods of getting it into your body. So you don't necessarily have to drink it in a tea. That is one option. You don't have to drink all of them together. There's finding a combo that works for you, a tasty combo, different herbs that work one day. So maybe you just do one. Maybe start off with Damiana and see where that takes you. So there's tea methods. There's sachet, which is you sew the herbs up and you can keep it under your pillow, and maybe that's a thing that you keep just recharging the sachet so you don't have to keep changing out these herbs. A favorite of mine is doing bath teas, and that's putting a combination of these herbs. They go well on your body as well as internally. Putting them in a sachet, taking a very hot bath, and you put this like in a reusable muslin. You put this in your bathtub and you let it steep for about 20 minutes, and then you take a bath with it. You'll notice a slight watercolor change, and that's fine. A very nice aroma coming from the herbs, depending on what herbs you're using and what blend you're using. And you'll feel yourself, you know, getting drowsy and wanting to take a nap. So when you come out, there's already this purification thing that you've done. You've already prepared your mental state for dreaming, and your body is prepared to go to sleep and dream as well. So that's a really awesome way to do it. The final way I would suggest is burning. So this can go either you smoking them. Now check which ones are safe to do this with. And this method is not for everybody. There's some people that prefer this method. Not my thing, but burning them I can do in a incense type situation, or a smoking bundle that I think we've talked about this before. But if you get the long sprigs, you can roll them into a bundle where you can burn them, burn them that way and have the smoke medicine. Or you can have chopped up herb and you can put them on like those little charcoal briquettes, not the ones that go on your grill, but they sell one like the ones that go in the censers at Mass, like for the Catholic churches. Or I think you can find them in like New Age shops or Indian stores even. They have like these incense little, they're like mini hockey pucks, I guess. Oh, they go in the hookahs too. So if you find a smoke shop that has those, you'll find these little charcoal briquettes that have no chemicals or anything weird in them. It's just a charcoal briquette, and then you can burn one of those in like a little incense burner and sprinkle the herbs on top and let the herbs smoke while you're sleeping. So this is either on like your nightstand, or you've inhaled it on a bonfire before you've gone to bed, that kind of thing. And then you just let the dreams happen. Keep a journal and a pen on your nightstand or somewhere near you in the bed, so that when you wake up you can immediately write down everything as fast as you can remember it, so before it leaves you. And then, I mean, you don't have to be super detailed, just like little bits that are enough to trigger you later on when you go back and you can sit there and put it all together. Now, what do you do with this information after you've dreamt? After a while, you'll start to notice your own patterns. You'll figure out what it means and how to decipher it. But if not, there's always all these really cool dream groups out there. There's a couple on Facebook. You might have some locally, so you can meet up with people in person if that's your thing. And try out with them and see how that works out. And I mean, it's amazing what you can learn about yourself, about others, how you process information, how to work out stress in other situations. But the the big thing is you're getting something out of this, and you're encouraging more power for yourself out of all of this. If you have used dream herbs, do you have a favorite blend that you use, or particular herbs that you like for yourself? Comment down below and let us know. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.